Welcome to the Consulting Lifestyle Podcast. I am your host, Dhiren Bhatia. On this show, you will discover the realities, the successes and the struggles of business management and information technology consultants in the fast-moving B2B world. So stay tuned if you want to know more about what it takes to have a consulting lifestyle. My guest today is Dhiren Bhatia. Dhiren Bhatia runs a B2B software consulting business in Dubai called Cloudscape. In this interview, I will explore with him the specifics about living and working in Dubai, as well as what it takes to work with your own life partner. With the Consulting Lifestyle Podcast, one of my biggest goals is to have guests coming from all over the world and having all sorts of background. Therefore, I am very excited to have my first guest coming from the Middle East and specifically from Dubai. So stay tuned and enjoy the episode. Hello, Dhiren Bhatia. How are you?
I'm good, Dhiren. How are you?
I'm great. So welcome to the Consulting Lifestyle Podcast. I really think you have a very specific and interesting story for our audience in many aspects. And what about starting with knowing a little bit more about yourself and your personal story, Dhiren?
Absolutely. First of all, listen, thank you so much for having me on the podcast. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to have the opportunity to share my story. So thank you for that. So let me introduce myself. Like you said, my name is Dhiren. I'm the founder and CEO of a technology startup called Cloudscape here in Dubai. I'm originally from Toronto. I moved to Dubai about 3 years ago in the pursuit of spending more time with my family because my parents are based here in Dubai. So my wife and I chose to move to this part of the world so that we could spend more time with them and get closer to them as part of our wish to spend more time with them. And so when I moved here, I decided to start Cloudscape. And Cloudscape is a technology consulting business that is focused on retail and hospitality. And I know it'd be really interesting to share why I chose retail and hospitality. So we'll wait for that question to come up. But just a quick sort of recap of Cloudscape. Cloudscape helps retail and hospitality businesses implement cloud solutions, modern systems like point of sale, inventory management, and then we show them how to integrate that with other services like accounting and scheduling. So we're really, really focused in that industry, and we want to provide best of breed solutions for those industries.
Oh, excellent. And you started Cloudscape 3 years ago, but did your IT consulting career start 3 years ago, or did you have a background before education or working for another employer before in Toronto?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've been part of IT for a long time. I started my career in IT back in 2000. I started working for Bank of Montreal, and then I moved to CIBC. And my last role there was an IT director at CIBC and BMO, and I was managing the technology infrastructure for capital markets in both of these financial institutions. So I was responsible for making sure that the traders and the investment bankers had good access to all the software and hardware infrastructure that they needed to continue to do business. So that was my background. I worked in IT for a very long time.
That's good. Yeah, you started in 2000. You mainly work for two banks, so BMO
Yes.
Bank of Montreal and CIBC. For those who don't know, it's also a big Canadian bank. What is interesting is that now you stay in IT, but you switch from the financial industry to retail and hospitality industry in another country.
Yes.
So I understand that you wanted to spend more time with your family, which is and it is a very brave decision to go from Toronto to Dubai. So how did you come to the idea of starting Cloudscape? Did you identify a need? Were you passionate? Are you passionate about that industry, or what led you to do that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I've had the privilege of being born in a family that's managed and run a retail business for the last 30 years in this part of the world. And my wife and I also had the pleasure of starting a retail brand from scratch in Toronto
Wow.
10 years ago. And so when we moved to Dubai, I wanted to share the knowledge that I had by marrying IT and what I learned in the retail business myself when I started my own brand. So what we do here at Cloudscape is we've married the two technologies, the two verticals, which is technology and retail,
Mhm.
and we share that knowledge with our customers and how to use systems more effectively, more efficiently, and what processes they can streamline.
Oh, wow.
That's part
Uh,
of what we do.
And what is your business model? Is it completely SaaS? Is it a mixture of services and SaaS? How do you acquire customers?
Yeah, great
What?
question. So we are primarily a professional services business. So we
Mhm.
are responsible for selecting and implementing the right solution together with really good and concise training, and then
Excellent.
after that provide something what we call the care package, which is ongoing support and coaching in
Mhm.
making sure that these technology systems are being maintained and used to its fullest potential. We don't have a SaaS offering just yet. Maybe in the future we'd be looking to offer our own solution. But for now, we continue to be focused on being a services business.
Oh, excellent. So, software selection services, software implementation services, and even the let's say post implementation support. So lifelong support
Exactly.
with businesses. And
Yes.
in 3 years. So how big? I don't know if the team has to be big, but how big is the team?
Look, I mean, whereas any other startup business, we continue to grow slowly,
Yeah,
but with the right feet forward. I started Cloudscape in 2017. It was just me, and now we are now 6 people, and we're continuing to grow
that's
in that
amazing.
regard. Yes, we've crossed about just under $500,000 in revenue last year. So in case you want to share some numbers, those are
That's amazing. Congrats.
numbers from our company. Thank you. It's an interesting journey to be on when you run your own business. There's so much to learn and so much to implement, and that's what I'm currently working on.
Yeah, and what are the main, if you could give a few differences between working and living in Dubai versus doing it from Toronto?
Yeah, look, it's a great question. So I'll answer that from a Cloudscape perspective in that I feel that people always need someone to show them how to do things correctly, and they
Mhm.
will pay for a good service or a product that does just that. So business owners, especially because they have so much to focus on. If you're a retailer or a restaurant or for whatever business that you're in, you're so busy doing that particular skill that you would appreciate if someone could come in and show you how to do something correctly from day one.
Mhm.
And especially with point of sale systems and inventory management systems, a lot of people, business owners make this mistake of trying to implement themselves. And what they don't
Mhm.
realize is they're spending too much time in trying to learn something from scratch and making mistakes, which could be very expensive for them in the future. So having someone like us come in and help them and show them everything is a great service to offer. And this works in multiple countries around the world. So in that sense, I feel what we do is very representative of both markets. And in Dubai specifically, I think people um, will pay a premium for that service because that talent doesn't exist here in this market. So all of this talent comes from the outside, and as Dubai continues to grow, it accepts and is willing to bring in talent that can offer these domain experiences, if you will.
Yeah, and so you're 6 people providing those three different types of services. And when I checked on your website, there are so many different softwares that you could advise to your clients. So did you develop in house some expertise in all those different softwares like Lightspeed, etc.? Did you develop that knowledge?
Yeah,
Expertise.
um, great question. So one of the commitments Cloudscape has from the beginning is to provide best of breed solutions to
Mhm.
this market. And as part of that commitment, we are always on the lookout for solutions that are industry leading, that offer a very niche solution for our industry. And so we've partnered with them. We are the official
Mhm.
resellers and implementation partners for those systems here. And absolutely, we undergo a training every year. We undertake an exam every year as well to make sure that we are compliant from a knowledge perspective. So we
Excellent.
understand these systems And that's absolutely a commitment that we take very seriously. So we renew our certification every year. And we always continue, like I said, continue to look out for other solutions that are leading in their industry, so that we can offer them to our customers here. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. And what is it? You had a retail brand in Canada, but
Yes.
were you were only working with your wife in that business, in the retail brand business?
We had a team of people. We had a few sales people. We had an
Okay,
operations manager, and so it was a brand that we started from scratch. It was a South Asian fashion jewelry and clothing brand. So my wife loved
nice.
designing clothing and jewelry for women,
Mhm.
and I was roped into that business because I was the IT guy, and she said, "Look, you can manage all the operations. You figure out all the back office stuff, and I'll do all the front office stuff." So in that process, I learned an immense lot about not only just selecting the right system, but also how to use that system effectively and what processes do we need to create in a business to use those systems effectively.
Okay,
That's
and
how,
this is something
yeah.
that can happen for a lot of people in the audience. And it's not rare. You have some the husband or the wife, or let's say just the life partner has an information technology consulting skill, and then the other partner has more of an industry skill, or can help the consultant with maybe some more generic business administration tasks. Do you have for the audience um, an advice or some principles you live by with regards to working with your life partner, because you sleep in the same house, and, and then you also have to bring money inside at home at the same time. So
Wow, that's an amazing question. Absolutely. I think we worked together for a very long period of time, and it was an amazing experience, both for ourselves and both also to test our marriage and really solidify the marriage in many ways. And believe me, like you said, right, we sleep in the same house, and we used to bring a lot of that back home and talk about almost every conversation in the initial years circled around business, which is not healthy for any marriage. So yeah, I'm really glad that you asked that question. Two things that I took away from that experience, which might be helpful for your audience and for people in general who are working with their partners. One is be very clear about the role that you're taking. So
okay.
in my case, my wife and I decided to split the two roles, and she said, "Look, I'll make sure I handle the front of office, the front of house, which is the sales, the sourcing, the training of the staff, and the customer experience, and I decided to take care of all the back end operations, so technology, processes, so on and so forth." So that was
Mhm.
really helpful to divvy up and distinctify. Sorry, not distinctify. I don't think that's a word, but make a clear
Distinguish.
distinction
Yeah.
on what roles each other would do. Number one, and number two, the other rule that we made was not to bring work back home. So when the store was closed, we decided to leave work at work and not bring it home. So I hope those two lessons that I learned are helpful for your audience as well.
Yes, it will be. It will definitely be. And how about client acquisition for Cloudscape? Is it do you bring clients to your website, or is it a referral? Is it events? How do you
Yeah,
acquire new clients?
yeah, that's a great question. So for us, we do that in three key ways. One is referrals
Yeah.
from existing clients. We also get referrals from our referral partners. So we have referral partner agreements with a lot of complementing businesses. So accounting services, tax auditors, retail and hospitality consultants.
Hmm.
They form a very big part of our referral network because these are businesses
Hmm.
that are complementary to our client base.
Yeah.
And the third is our website. So about 2 years ago, we decided to launch a digital marketing strategy, which
Hmm.
centered around inbound marketing. And we are working on making sure that that happens and continues forward in designing great content, in designing a great experience for our customers to come and then learn more about what we do, and also offer them valuable information that they can take away without having to do business with us if they chose not to, in the
That's
hopes that they will do business at some point.
Yeah, and I think there are two great things that you have mentioned in your answer. One is um, you partner with other companies that are in the same vertical. So companies that do retail consulting, you can be complementary. You can be
Yes.
complementary to what they provide. So I think that's a very big lesson. Sometimes as consultants, we think, okay, I need to talk only directly to the end client,
Yes.
which looks like the best, which looks like the best idea because you have a direct route to her or to him. But sometimes when you get referred, or when you come as a joint offer or complementary offer to something that is already existing, maybe your success rate is higher because your partner already knows well what are the challenges of the client, of the user. So that's
Yeah,
a
you
great.
hit the nail on the head. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And it's just to just to add some more color to that. What I've learned in doing business in this part of the world is that the market's really small, and there are already other people talking to your core customer or your audience,
Mhm.
and piggybacking on those networks and those relationships, like you said, can be very profitable because they're closer to the client, or they may have another perspective to bring in. And there are organizations that actually offer this as a service. So I'm part of a group called BNI, which is a referral-based marketing uh, organization, and it's really, really popular around the world. And so if anybody is
Yes.
consulting or looking to grow their network, I would highly recommend to look into organizations like these in your area and become a part of them.
Oh, that's yeah, that's a very good point, and they are pretty. I would not say famous, but they do have chapters. I know that they do have some quite big chapters in Canada, in Montreal, where I
Yes.
live. I know that there are some BNI chapters, and I myself attended one breakfast more than 2 years ago of BNI. Um, so maybe you can also dive a little bit into that. So you integrated this group, the BNI. So it's really an acronym, BNI. Did you integrate that in Dubai, while you were in Dubai, or while you were in Canada?
Yeah, my wife was actually invited to one of the breakfasts, as you mentioned, in Canada. So that's where we
Hmm.
got familiar with the idea. And when I moved here to Dubai, I wanted to grow my network faster, in an organic manner, but I could not have facilitated those many meetings in the short time.
Hmm.
So BNI offered a platform where I could walk in and connect with business owners in the room who then had their own networks they could
Hmm.
connect me to. So, and that's pretty much the essence of BNI. It really helps you as a business owner or as a consultant to tap into other people's networks by being a trusted advisor or a trusted colleague. So if I had to recommend someone from my BNI chapter to a client, I would do it in a heartbeat because I trust them, I know them, and that's really the magic of BNI, and that's the magic of referral based marketing or referral based sales, because it's coming from the heart, right? If I had to recommend
Yes.
someone who I know and trust, it comes from the heart, which makes it really easy for the client to do business with this referral.
Yes. Yeah, that's knowing and trusting the person factor is so important. So yeah, in referral based businesses, it's important to directly know people, and that's a very big clue again that you give, because you move to Dubai and you think to yourself, you ask yourself, how can I get to know the people that will make my business advance as fast as possible? So you integrate existing groups. So again, that's a very big tip. Are there any other industry groups or any other type of groups in that you're part of?
There's what maybe one other thing that could help your audience is to figure out other avenues of referrals. So I'll give you another example. For example, Apple in the Middle East,
Hmm.
Apple, the stores here, the business
Hmm.
teams at Apple are a very good referral source for us because they happen to be very complementary in that we recommend iPad-based POS systems, and customers look for software solutions. So that way,
Yes.
Apple also has really helped us grow the business. And what the reason I brought that up was I wanted to maybe throw this on the table is for others to think about what other sources of referrals they could think of there in their industry. It could be something
Yeah.
like Apple or other companies that sell hardware but maybe don't sell software, or vice versa.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. That's very okay. That's again, I never thought about that one. Apple, and that can be used not only in Dubai. It could be used anywhere in the world. So
Exactly. Yes,
that's a
absolutely.
very smart. That's a very smart one.
And
Um,
it's and just to
yeah.
just to sorry,
Yeah.
just to not to interrupt, but I wanted to add some color. I mean,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Apple's a very big name and it's a big company, so it's
Hmm.
um, it may be intimidating to some people, but I think it's really have to give credit to the Apple sort of ideology in that they want to create a community of entrepreneurs, and they want to help the business scene and the business community to grow. And
Yeah.
they are very firm in believing that good hardware can change how that works, but together with hardware we need good software, and
Yeah.
Apple recognizes that. And the reason they bring someone like us to the table with the customer is because they know that we're recommending the best of breed solutions that will work on their hardware. So together it's a very synergistic conversation for the client.
That's great. Again, a great lesson, and we didn't really touch on that subject. But what are the main differences with living in Dubai now, just in general
I
in
don't
your life?
I don't miss the snow, and I don't miss the frigid temperatures for one.
That's for sure.
But it can get really hot. So on the negative side, it could get really hot in the summer.
Okay.
So this season now, which is from November on till April, is what we call patio season here in the Middle East, in Dubai. So it's a lot of cool days, breezy nights,
Okay.
and then when summer comes around, which is May, June, July, August, September, October, it's really, really hot. So it's plus 40, plus 45. So that part,
My gosh.
I don't want to think about just yet. Other than that, I think living in Dubai it's been a great experience. I was born here and I moved to Canada at a very young age, but coming back here is really see the city transform itself in the last
Yes.
almost 20 years. Dubai has become this really big brand name,
Yeah.
and credit where credit is due. They've done a phenomenal job of attracting that kind of talent and that kind of infrastructure, and building that infrastructure so that people can do business, people can get around really easily. So it's a really great place to be in, and it's been an amazing experience so far.
That's great. That's great. Great to hear this. To hear this testimony. I have not been there yet, but if I go, I will make sure I'll contact you. And
Absolutely, be lovely to have you, and anybody that's listening to your podcast, they're welcome to reach out to me, and happy to have
thanks. And now I would like to go with the kind of final question. Given that after that you have provided all that information and all that value about how you created Cloudscape, all those tips about acquiring clients in Dubai, how to choose a niche, etc. So that's you have a very complete story, and now you're you're helping retail and hospitality businesses, but you have a background also in finance. You work with your wife. So my question is, what does having a consulting lifestyle mean to you? So what is it for you? When with all your long career, what do you see?
We were talking about this off air.
Yeah,
Consulting lifestyle can mean so much to so many different people.
indeed.
For me personally, it means two things to me. One, it gives me the freedom to do what I love doing, which is helping other business owners through sound advice.
Yeah.
And so to the term consulting, literally the ability for us to get into a business, understand that business, and give them advice that will change the way they do business, or probably even potentially the future of that business. It puts a lot of weight on my shoulders and my team's shoulders to make sure that they give the right advice. But we
Mm-hmm.
love it. We love what we do, and we do it with passion. And number two, the consulting lifestyle means to me that I can have the freedom to do the other things that I want to do, because now I've got a great team, I've got a great product, and we have a great service. But the consulting lifestyle means that I can also take that idea and move to another country, maybe back to Canada, bring that business back, or maybe even use that to travel between two countries.
True.
Because that's one of my desires with my wife, to come back to Canada, to move back. And we hope that this business can give us that lifestyle, because that's exactly what the consulting lifestyle is about, is be able to travel and have the flexibility to do the things that we want to do.
Perfect. I'm pretty sure you don't want to come back now, no, to Canada.
Not now, maybe in the summer.
Okay, okay. That was great, Darren. So helping other businesses with sound advice and have the freedom to do what you want to do. So that's the two things related to having a consulting lifestyle mean to you. That was an amazing interview, Dhiren. I really enjoy it. So maybe one last thing: where can people find you? Whoever want to get in touch with you.
Yes, thank you. You can find me on LinkedIn at linkedin.ca/b/Dhiren, Dhiren B. Or you can also find me on Facebook, and you can find Cloudscape on Facebook as well, which is facebook.com/Cloudscape Technologies.
Perfect. We will have all those details in the show notes for the audience. So thank you very much, Dhiren. It was an amazing interview, and we wish you the best of the luck in the future.
Thank you so much, Dhiren, for having me on your podcast. It's been an amazing experience.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Consulting Lifestyle Podcast. Leave a review on iTunes if you have enjoyed the episode, and subscribe to the podcast so that you get notified to hear other episodes with your host, Dhiren Bhatia.